What's up, Grizz Nation? I am Meghan Triplett. I got my guy John Roser on the other end, and you know what that means. The two of us, that it's time for another edition of 3 Point Stands presented by MTN Dew. We got the three topics that we're all talking about from the weekend that was, and like always, we got to start with The Last Dance. We got to watch the last two episodes. I'm really sad about this on Sunday night. So, Roser, now we've seen it all completely as a full 10 whole episodes. What's your biggest takeaway from The Last Dance?
I mean, I don't know what my biggest takeaway from the whole thing was. I mean, for me, it was a throwback to my childhood. I was in the 8th grade when Jordan hit that shot. My freshman year of high school was the fall of 1999. So that was in June of 1998. So I had just graduated from 8th grade when that happened. And I will tell you that the image, it's a historic image in sports of Jordan, that last shot he took as a member of the Chicago Bulls. I had that poster hanging over my bedroom all throughout high school. I had a poster of that hanging over my bedroom. I mean, I just think what I really like and what I really enjoyed the most about it is for people that didn't get to watch him play, really, that for a younger generation that's in their 20s, that really didn't, between the ages of basically 20 and 28, like you really didn't get to watch him. You really don't remember that much from him. And I think for those people to see him and kind of understand why, like, my generation thinks so highly of him, they got to see just what that was. I mean, he was the first sports star, and I think he's the first in the NBA that I can think of, that he transcended basketball. To me, he was bigger than the game of basketball. He was that large of a figure in American sports, in world sports, just in pop culture and everything. He was the first to really transcend it. I think Tiger Woods transcended golf. Muhammad Ali, obviously, I wasn't alive for. Muhammad Ali transcended the sport of boxing. There's no doubt about it. And then, like I said, Tiger Woods, I think, transcended this. It was bigger than the sport of golf during his big peak run and how big of a star he was. But I don't think there hasn't been another player in the NBA to me with that stature that Jordan had. I don't think there's been a player, and that includes LeBron. I do not think LeBron has ever been bigger than the game of basketball, and I think Jordan was bigger than the game.
Well, I think when you talk about being bigger than the game, I think for the biggest thing that we saw from The Last Dance was that it was just a different time. It was a different time back then. Like, basketball wasn't on the level that it is right now. And so to see how Michael Jordan took the game of basketball and he helped make it that, worldwide sport where, fans coming from different countries to see him. And just for me, The Last Dance, like I'm like you, I grew up a Michael Jordan fan. I was a little bit younger, but I remember certain things, and it's crazy how you can watch something and those memories start to come back that you kind of forgot about. I had the Michael Jordan poster from the dunk contest above my bed, and like that was, that was my greatest all-time player. It reminded me of just like how amazing MJ was, and just how amazing this whole Bulls dynasty was back then in the 90s. They were the team in the 90s, and to see how they had to get to that level of being the team from, seeing the background Dennis Rodman, seeing the background Steve Kerr even on Sunday night, and that dynamic with, Michael Jordan and, Phil Jackson, Jerry Cross, it was just absolutely amazing. It makes Sunday night, I don't know what I'm going to do Sunday night now. Like, this was something just like the timetable of The Last Dance coming out, during a quarantine where families are all sitting at home. Everyone had a chance to talk about it. You got to hear from your parents' standpoint of what they remember from that time. It was just an overall, just a beautiful thing. I'm going to miss it. I want more. I want more.
No, I think it goes to show, like, in his era, in his time, he was must-see TV. When he was coming on to play basketball, it was like everybody, if you're an NBA fan or even just a Fringe fan, because he got the Fringe fan to watch basketball, you stopped what you were doing to watch him. And then this was a documentary, and it was like a lot of people stopped what they were doing. Everything stopped on Sunday night to watch a documentary that revolved around, it wasn't all about him, but it was, it revolved around him, about him. And he still, in 2020, can get people to do that. That NBA Finals game, that Game 6 in 98, it still remains to this day the highest rated NBA Finals game of all time. I believe the highest, which makes it the highest rated NBA game of all time, still stands to this day, that Game 6. in 1998. And I just don't think if they did a documentary on, and they have done the Celtics and the Lakers rivalry and everything like that, not everything stops. And it's like, I think if they did a big documentary on LeBron James, I don't think everything stops and people sit down and watch that. That's the kind of figure that Jordan was and the polarizing figure that he was and still is to this day.
Well, you know what? We might not know what we're going to do on Sunday, but however, this week some news came out.
30 for 30. Lance Armstrong 30 for 30. Talk about it.
That is coming out. Lance, that will be a good one. We'll probably talk about that next week to figure out. I saw the preview of that after, the Last Dance and talking about when was his first time doping, but that's for next week. Let's talk about that next week.
Yes.
But however, we got some good news this week on the potentially of us maybe seeing sports return. We had 3 governors come out saying that for sports to get ready to return without spectators. What's your stance on the potential? California, Texas, and New York governors came out and said that pro sports could potentially return in the next couple of months and to get ready for it.
Yeah, obviously, when you look at the 4 just most popular states in the country, you're talking Florida, Texas, California, New York. Florida had already said. Florida clearly has been open. And Florida just don't care. Like, Florida's like, yeah, we're open, whatever. We already had to cancel WrestleMania. We ain't doing any of that anymore. We had to tell them WrestleMania couldn't come. We're not having any of that anymore. I think California is the interesting one because California has gone from in the last week to we're not going to have sports in our state until 2021 to, yeah, bring them on. Bring them on right now.
In a matter of days.
Right. Yeah, in a matter of days. And I think that's because when you see all the other states in New York, Florida, Texas that are saying, and you see all the leagues that are ready to return, the NFL and college football aren't starting until the fall, but the NBA is clearly players are losing money on their paychecks now. And it appears the NBA is going to have a plan real soon to return and play games. Major League Baseball is still working on a plan. The NHL is still working on a plan. But it appears that this is all going in motion to where they're going to have a season and they're going to have a plan in place to have a season very soon. And if you're the state of California, and this goes with college sports too, what are you going to do? Like, are the Lakers, Clippers, Sacramento Kings, 49ers, Rams, Chargers, Stanford, UCLA, USC, because you're not going to allow sports in your state? What, are they just going to have to forfeit their seasons? Like, you're gonna have a big problem on your hands from a lot of professional sports organizations that bring in a lot of dollars to your state if you tell them they can't play when all the other states are going to be participating in professional sports or college sports. So California was the big one. Look, I think it's time to bring them back. Obviously, no fans will be there. And look, it's not like they're back tomorrow. It's not like an NBA game tomorrow. So you can put a plan in place for if your baseball or the NBA to return in a month or a month and a half. And if you see things that happen in the data in a month or a month and a half that make you kind of pause for a second, well, then you can just shut it down. I don't think there's any harm in having a plan in place to say, this is when we're going to return. But then if things get out of control a little bit, like they were a couple of months ago, that you just pull it back and say, all right, guys, we can't get this done right now. And we're going to have to just hold it off and wait till next season. Now, the NFL probably won't do that anyway because we know the NFL don't care.
No. See, this is the interesting thing. I think it's a statement that I want sports to come back. I do. I want sports to come back when it's a time when it is safe to come back. Obviously, having the no fans, no spectators is great, and that's a step towards that of making it safer right now. But everyone has to be all on one accord for us to come back. So whether it's 4 states, 5 states, it has to be, a countrywide thing for us to bring sports back.
Be the United States.
Right. So, right. It has to be the United States. So thank you there. That was clever. But so my whole thing is like hearing that news is like, okay, so what about everybody else? Because as we know, New York, Cuomo said I think it's in the best interest of us all people because we haven't had professional sports and since March. This weekend we got to see golf, NASCAR and soccer come back. And the only league that actually has a set date right now in the summertime, to have like a whole type of playoff conference and everything is the Premier Lacrosse League. Lacrosse is coming back with no fans. They already have the date set out. They said in July they will be back for a certain amount of week period. They're going to have their playoffs and their championship.
Golf also. Golf has all their dates.
Yeah. So it will be interesting, especially this type of sports like the NBA, the NFL, college. It's so hard to wrap your head around even thinking that far. I think it's I think the governor is saying, hey, let's get ready to plan it, but I still think we are a long way to go before we get too excited.
We have a long way to go. The numbers have been positive in the last month. The numbers have been trending in a positive direction for our country. So that is to say, like, if you're planning on not starting for another month and a half, you're hoping those numbers stay going in a positive direction. And in a month and a half, if they all keeps going in a positive direction, you should be good to go. But that's why you have a month or a month and a half from now to when you say you're going to play to see how the data looks. Right. And if there's troubling signs, well, then you just pull back on it.
Right. This is a testing period. It's not time for us to get all excited, go get our jerseys, go get, we can't get tickets or anything, but it's just a time to like, okay, let's just sit back and wait and see. And maybe just.
NBA might be playing in Disney World. Mickey and Minnie will be the only people in the crowd. Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy.
That would be very interesting. Then the question is, do we go
and some stormtroopers.
Right. Are they going to send us to Disney World, Roser? What do you think?
You can go to Disney World. I ain't going to Disney World.
Oh my gosh, you're no fun.
Disney World I've only been once and I was 3 years old.
Well, okay, we need to make sure that you're essentially going to Disney. Obviously, Disney World probably won't be the Disney World that we're all used to, that I know and used to loving. But you need to go to Disney World one day soon.
I mean, I could handle not crowded Disney World. I can. You
can't go.
Are they still going to make me pay $15 for a bottle of water? I'm not doing that.
All right, let's get on to the topic of something else, because you talk about paying something. Well, it's not $15 for a bottle of water, but Tekashi 6ix9ine, he's been all over the news, social media since he's gotten out of jail early. He's got a new song called Gooba, but however, it's not #1 on the billboards, and now he is claiming that Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber paid their way to that #1 spot with the new song Stuck With You. I actually love Stuck With You. I've done a TikTok to Stuck With You. They're the #1 spot. I love this song. I mean, what's your stance on Tekashi 6ix9ine's claims on Justin and Ariana bribing the billboard?
During the quarantine, Megan, because I haven't seen you down in the office. Obviously, you've just been making TikTok.
I'm making content from home. You're doing such a great job. You're doing such a great job from the studio.
Put my life on the line. Yeah, I put my life on the line every day for Grande City.
And I appreciate you every single day.
Thank you. He's terrible. Like, he is truly god awful. He does have very good beats, but I don't really care. Like, he cannot rap at all. Like, he is truly god awful. And yes, I do believe probably Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber's record label probably paid to have them in the #1 spot. That does not surprise me. That would not surprise me at all if that was the case. These record labels do have control over a ton of this and who they want to promote and who they want to put. And I'm all for it. If it keeps anything that keeps that dude out of having a #1 spot anywhere on the charts, I'm totally down with it. He is 100% trash.
The only thing is, like, I'm with you. I know record companies and record labels have kind of type of leeways and sometimes a pull with these, lists. We've seen a lot of rappers and a lot of people have said that out loud. However, his claims maybe would have been something if the song wasn't a hit. Like, I know you don't have TikTok, but Stuck With You has become a hit. It came with a music video of celebrities in their homes dancing. Justin Bieber with his wife, Hailey Baldwin, Ariana Grande and her new boyfriend, Demi Lovato and her new boyfriend. We saw Ashton Kutcher. And so, like, the whole music video is fans dancing at home to the lyrics Stuck With You, because everyone is stuck at home. It's a romantic song about being stuck with you in quarantine, how much I love you. I'd rather not be stuck with anybody else. It is a hit for the times that we are in. Tekashi 6ix9ine Gooba.
This is the bigger story. Ariana Grande has a new boyfriend.
She has a new boyfriend.
God bless that guy. Like, man.
Oh my gosh, he's a real estate agent.
She's a heartbreaker. She's gonna ruin that guy.
Stop it. We are not gonna do that. We are not. She is amazing. She has an amazing voice.
Hudson was back in the day. Kate Hudson was like wrecking everybody. She wrecked the Black Crowes. She wrecked Alex Rodriguez. I think Alex Rodriguez actually got better when he was with her, I think. But like she is. Kate Hudson used to wreck guys.
No, you were not going to bash these women. No.
Pete Davidson went into depression. Big Sean went into depression.
These guys didn't have their stuff together, and also they just weren't meant to be together. You got to get to your happily ever after. That's the whole point. I don't know how we got on that subject, but everyone's looking for their happily ever after, just like you, Roser, and you're going to get to yours too.
You are too, Meghan.
Oh, thank you. I know it. Trust me, I know.
You're confident. You're confident.
All right, Roser, it's time for us to say goodbye at this point before we make this a dating show.
Yeah, this went off the rails. This totally went off the rails.
Quarantine life, 3-point stance edition. That's what it is. I'll see you next week.